So last time we saw chapter 5, but there are two verses that we didn't finish yet. We just asked the question about them, but didn't give any answers. I'm not sure that I have the answers, but maybe. So I just remind what we saw. So we saw in chapter 5, after they crossed the Yarden, the first thing that they did, were the same thing that they did the last thing before coming out from Egypt. So in some meaning, we can say that the 40 years in the desert are just a pause, and then we continue from the same place. What are the two last things that they did in Egypt? Two things that related with blood, with covenant, was the Korban Pesach and Brit Milah. And these are exactly the same thing that they did the first thing after crossing the Yarden. They did Brit Milah to everybody because they didn't do that during the 40 years in the desert. And they did the Korban Pesach, the first mitzvah that Am Yisrael made in Eretz Yisrael. And we say that these two mitzvot have a lot of in common, right? These two mitzvot are the only one who have karet. If you don't do them, the only ones that are mitzvot aseh, positive mitzvot, that you have karet or Brit Milah and Korban Pesach. Only a person who did Brit Milah can do Korban Pesach, right? And we say that these two mitzvot represent the covenant between Am Yisrael and Hashem. So Eretz Yisrael, enter into Eretz Yisrael and conquer the land of Israel, it's not a military or a civil issue of finding a place to live. It's re-establishing the covenant with Hashem. The covenant with Hashem has these three aspects. Am Yisrael, the Torah that we got in Sinai, and we saw there a lot of relationship between the Torah and the Eretz Israel and the land of Israel. These three things together are the covenant with Hashem. So it was important to renew that and do that the first thing that they did in the land of Israel. Right? It's like a little bit short, but it's very important because all the meaning of the war that come after that, it's not a regular war. It's not a civil war that you just need a place, territory to live. It's the place for the nation of Hashem to be able to do the Torah to do all the mitzvot in the right place, in the right way. So after we saw these two mitzvot, there is a strange thing. So now we have to actually conquer the land of Israel, and Yehoshua apparently is coming closer to the city to see what's going on. It says, "Vayibiot Yehoshua bericho." Once Yehoshua was in Yericho, the verse say in Yericho, but actually we can say that it was in Yericho, so the Mefarshim say it was near Yericho, and this is a translation here also, near Yericho. He looked up and saw a man standing before him. So he saw a man, and he doesn't know who is it. He's a little bit afraid, because he may be one of the enemies. So he asked, and the man was standing with drawn sword in hand. So Yehoshua went up to him and asked him, "Are you one of us or our enemies?" So what if he's the enemy? So he would answer kindly, "Oh, sir, I'm your enemy." What kind of question is it? So maybe he did that with a sword in his hand, prepared to a battle or something like that. But what would be the answer? And this man replied, "No." No what? He gave you two options. It's not a question of yes or not. No. And he said, "Ani tzar tzva Hashem. I am captain of the Lord's host. Now I have come." Okay. I know that I'm saying that now are you come. What does it mean now I have come? And what answers that? That means that he's in his side, on the other side. So we can say, yes, so I mean, no, don't worry. I am in your side. I am Tzar Tzva Hashem, right? So I'm in your side. And I came now to help you, right? So Yehoshua heard that. Yehoshua threw himself face down to the ground. So he understood this Tzar Tzva Hashem. He is respecting him. And prostrating himself, say to him, "What does my Lord command his servant?" So if there is a divine revelation, there should be some message in it. You know, there is this famous case, well, when we read the Sefer Bereshit, Avraham Avinu sees the three angels, right? If you remember, it says that he was sitting with Hashem. וירא השם אליו באלוני ממרא, והוא יושב פתח האוהל כחום היום. Hashem was revealed in front of him in אלוני ממרא, and he was sitting in the door, in the entrance of the tent. וירא אליו השם, so the מפרשים ask, why did Hashem was revealed? We saw that Hashem was with him, וירא אליו השם, but we can't find that he say anything. And there's no reason that Hashem would be revealed, or the Torah would say that Hashem was with him, and saying what? That's the reason that Rambam says that all the story of the angels was what he saw. It was a nevuah, a prophecy. It wasn't happened in the reality. And other Mefarshim don't agree, and they attack Rambam very, very hardly, because what? How can you say a story that is written in the Torah, it's not happened? Okay, so we can go very far with that. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that where there is a revelation, there should be a message, something that would be said, right? So Yehoshua asked, okay, so you came to me, what do you want from me? What is your message? What is your command to his servants, I mean, to myself? So what would be the command? What would be the message? So the captain of the Lord's host answered Yehoshua, remove your sandals from your feet. It doesn't say sandals, it says shoe. Shal na'alcha. Remove your shoe from your feet, from your foot, so that's one, right? Not your feet. For the place where you stand is holy. And Yehoshua did so. Okay, and he doesn't say anything more. The story ends here. So some say that the message that we're going to see in the next chapter is actually what the angel said, what the angel said. But according to what it's written, it says like the only thing that I have to tell you is take off your shoes. So that reminds us what? Moshe Rabbeinu in the sneh. But in the sneh, it was only a preparation to what Hashem said to him after that. After Moshe took off his shoes, Hashem told him, you are going to be the redemptor, right? Of redeemer, right? Redeemer of the Jewish people. So the taking off the shoes was preparation for the message. Here, taking off the shoes is the message. Okay, so what is the message? So to understand all this story, which is quite, like I said before, quite strange and not clear what is all the message here, Chachamim, we go to what Chachamim explained, that it is related to something that we saw in the last parashot in the Torah. In the last parashot, there were twice when Hashem said to Moshe Rabbeinu, I will send an angel with you. When you're going to conquer the land of Israel, I will send my angel to be with you and to help you. There are twice that, and Chachamim said, this is the angel that what we saw in Sefer Shmot, in Exodus, this is the angel that came now to help him during all the process. We see now that he was talking to him, but he didn't leave. He was with him during all the process of conquer the land of Israel, of entering the land of Israel. Okay, but now, like I said before, it was twice. Yeah, so Shalachti malach lefanecha. Yes, so in Parashat Mishpatim, but also in Parashat Kitisa, and there is a big difference between these two times. So let's see. I will, if you can open. I don't know if you have in your computer in chapter 23 in Exodus, and in Sefer Shmot. Yeah, I will read it. You don't have to read that, but it says, well, after. We know that Parashat Mishpatim mainly speaks about a lot of details of the halachot, of the Torah, but in the end, it continues to describe what happened in Mount Sinai, right? This is the end of the parasha. And that starts with the words of Hashem to Moshe Rabbeinu, and it says, Ine anochi sholeach malach lefanecha, lishmorcha badarech, v'le'aviacha el hamakom asher achinuti. I'm sending a messenger. The word malach, we usually translate as angel, right? But really, malach, I mean, literally what it means is a messenger. We said that the angels are the messengers of Hashem. But for example, when Yaakov sent malachim le'Esav, send angels to Esav, messengers, so there are two explanations. One is he sent messengers to see what's going on, and the other explanation that he said actual angels. Okay, so anytime it's said malach, we can understand in both ways. In this case, when Hashem say, I'm going to send an angel in front of you, that may be, if he's a messenger, who is it? Yehoshua is an angel, because he is going to be the one who's going to be in front of Am Israel. If an angel, it's not a messenger, it's an angel, the creature that is a spiritual creature, so it's someone else that's going to be with Yehoshua. So we may say that Yehoshua meeting himself here in some meaning, right? Okay, this is an explanation, but it's not the pshat. The pshat is there is an angel, someone that Hashem sent, and he would be the one who's going to keep you in the way. I'm sending a messenger before you to guard you on the way and to bring you to the place that I have made ready. Which is this place? The land of Israel. So there's going to be some divine help in this mission. So now Moshe continues and says, pay heed to him and obey him. Do not defy him, for he will not pardon your offense, since my name is in him. So this is a very tough angel. So you should listen to him, because if not, he's not going to forgive you. He's going to punish you. It's going to be hard. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? I leave a question open, and then he says, of course, if you will hear him, so if you obey him and do all that I say, I will be an enemy to your enemies and a foe to your foes. I mean, I will be against your enemies. So this is the first angel, and we can say, Chachamim says that this angel, Sartzva Hashem, that Yehoshua meet, is this the same angel? And he say, Ata bati, I came now to complete my mission with you. No, I'm not with you, I'm not against you, I'm the Sartzva Hashem. I'm not a human, I'm an angel that come to help you to complete your mission. So this is the first place that this angel is mentioned. Yeah.
You read in the English, I will be an enemy to your enemies and a foe to your foes. Why is it repeated? In other words, it's saying I'm going to be against your enemies. And it'll be on your side.
Okay.
Why does it say it again?
It's a good question. I didn't thought about it. I may say that the difference between the word enemy and the word sorer, foe. In Hebrew, I understand the difference. Enemy is actual enemy. That means someone who fight against you. Sorer can be one who make you problems all the time. Is your neighbor and is making you problem. He moves the fence. He throws his garbage to your yard. I mean, is sorer. We had people that lived with Am Israel in Eretz Israel. This is Bezrat Hashem, you're going to see in the beginning of Sefer Shoftim. They couldn't remove all the Gentiles from the land of Israel, and they were tzorerim. Means they always made problems, spiritual problems, material problems. That may be the difference. That's the answer that I'm thinking right now. To make your life hard. Yes, exactly. Okay, anyway, this is the angel, right? Chachamim says this is the angel of that Yehoshua met. He came to help you against the enemies, but you should listen to him. What does it mean, listen to him? You should make complete with the Torah, right? So, 10 chapters after that, Perek Lamed Gimel, 33, it's a different situation. We are now after, it's the last parasha actually, that we saw, we after the scene of the golden calf. Am Israel is in some way separated from Hashem, is farther from Hashem than before, right? There's some distance between them. And after all the punishments and the anger, Hashem said, the plan haven't changed. You're going to go to the land of Israel, right? Hashem said to Moshe, set out from here, and you and the people that you have brought up from the land of Egypt to the land of which I swore to Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, saying to your offspring, I will give it. Okay, so he said, your people. What does it mean, your people? So that you brought up from Egypt. Moshe brought up the Jewish people from Egypt, or Hashem? Who did that?
Hashem, but it was after the scene of golden calf. So
okay, yeah. So exactly, it's like when you're angry with your child, you say to your mother, "Take your child." No, it's not yours, right? It's like it's a way of speaking that's showing a distance. Right? It's not like before. We are not so close to each other. So your people, you brought them out from Egypt, but still bring them to the land of Israel. And then Hashem continue with the same promise that we saw in chapter 23. It says, I will send a messenger before you. ושלחתי לפניך מלאך. And I will drive out the Knaanim, the Amorim, the Chittim, and the Perizim, the Chivim, and the Yebusim. So this angel is going to help you to drive out all the Goyim from the land of Israel. Is it a good thing or bad thing? It looks like a good thing, right? Again, the same angel. And a land flowing with milk and honey, but I will not go in your midst, since you are a stiff-necked people, lest I destroy you on the way. So Hashem say, I won't go myself with you, I will send this angel with you. And because I don't want to punish you. We saw that this angel also would punish you. Well, we saw in Perek 23, Kav chapter 23, we say that if you won't listen to him, he will punish you. And here we say, I don't want to punish you, so I'm sending this angel. It's a little bit contradiction between these two places, right? What is the reaction of the people in the last time? They didn't react. It was okay. It was part of the preparation to Har Sinai. It's part of the events around Mount Sinai. Here it says, when the people heard these harsh words, they went into mourning and none put on finery. They took their jewelry from them and they were sad. I mean, that was bad news. When he says he's going to punish you, it was good news. When he said, I don't want to punish you, so I'm sending my angel, it is bad news. Few verses after that, it says, Moshe Rabbeinu, just a second. Moshe Rabbeinu said to him, and he replied, unless you go in the lead, you means Hashem, do not make us leave this place. We don't want to go to, if you don't go with us, I don't want to go to the land of Israel. And after that, the answer of Hashem is, and Hashem said to Moshe, I will also do these things that you have asked. It's not clear what exactly. But again, what I'm trying to say, we have an angel that is going with you and is going to be a very tough angel. No reaction, everything is good. We have an angel that go with you in order to protect you, because I don't want to punish you, everybody is sad. What is the meaning of that? To answer that, I will mention one of the first punishments in the Torah. What is the punishment that we saw in the Torah of the snake, right? Of the serpent? Yeah? Yeah, that's one. And he says, "Ve'afar tochal kol yemei chayech." Apparently, it's not a normal snake because snakes don't eat ground. It's some symbolic snake, or I don't know, spiritual snake, but it says the snake, your punishment, you're going to walk on your belly, right? And you're going to eat dust. That's going to be your food. So Hamim ask, is it a punishment or is it a reward? Because I have to work very hard for my food, right? All of you. We have to work hard for our food. And if the food of the snake is a dust, where can you find it? Wherever you go. It's a reward. You don't have to work hard for your food. You're going to find it anyway, anywhere. Why is it a punishment? Because in some meaning, you don't need Hashem. Kiviyachol, you are getting far from Hashem. You don't need him. When we have problems, when we have to make efforts to make food, we say, Hashem, please help me. And we see that when we come closer, there is some relationship between our behavior and the karma. I mean, and the help of Hashem, right? So one of the worst punishment, or let's say, what is worse for a kid? An angry parent or apathic parent? You are an expert. Apathic means indifferent. He doesn't care about him. What do you prefer? A parent that is angry with you when you are behaving badly, or a parent that doesn't care for you? An angry parent is much better, right? Of course, we want all the parents to be calm and soft, but part of the life is that sometimes they are angry. So when Hashem said, I'm going to send an angel with you, and he's going to be tough with you, that's me, like a caring parent. When you are going to go away from the way, he's going to give you back, bring you back. When Hashem told them, I don't want to punish you, I want to be indifferent to your actions, it's bad news. And Moshe Rabbeinu say, no, you know what? You don't want this kind of relationship. Okay, both kinds of behaving, let's say, are angels. Angels means messengers of Hashem. Hashem can behave through his angels, right? Through his messengers in this world in different ways. He can be very close to us and show us that he is angry when we are behaving badly, and then we immediately go back to our to the right way. Okay, you can behave with us in indifference, do whatever you want. I don't intervene in what's going on. So this is where people lost their faith. This is where people don't feel or don't see the hand of Hashem in the reality. So that's mean in some way we don't feel that Hashem is here, and we are getting farther than him from him, and it's bad, right? We are not living this relationship. So the first angel that is sometimes hungry is much better than the second angel, who is only kiviyachol helping us, right? So that's the difference. We can see this idea in another topic in the Torah, in Parashat Tazria Metzorah, all the issue of the tzarat. The tzarat was some kind of skin disease, right? That when people made bad things, what bad things? Mainly we talked about Lashon Hara, but the Gemara says there are 7 different kinds of things, and the Midrash says there are 10 different kinds of things that when people did these things, they got this tzarat. And then they had to go out of the camp, be 7 days alone, and pass a process of purification. And after that, they could go back after they were healed from this disease. So, do we have that now? No, we don't have this tzarat now. And Ramban says it's a miracle punishment. And it's a good thing, because now, unfortunately, we can talk all the day Lashon Hara, Chas v'Shalom, and we many times talk Lashon Hara, and there isn't any reaction. We can keep go in the bad way without any reaction. So that means this is the angel that let you live, right? But if we were closer to Hashem, we make mistake, we pay for that. We won't do that the next time, right? And these are the difference between these two angels. So now let's go back to Yehoshua. We can understand this message, this question, Alanu atayim letzarenu, are you with us or against us? In what meaning? Again, I'm not sure this is the explanation. I'm just giving an option.
Are you the first angel?
Are you the first angel or the second angel? Alanu atayim letzarenu. Right? You are the one who is going to be the good angel, which is a tough angel, but with you all the time, that Am Yisrael was happy to get this angel? Or are you the bad angel against us, that it looks like you are in our favor, but actually it's a distance, it's a sign of a distance from Hashem? Alanu atah uletzarenu. And the answer is lo. No. Neither the first or the second. Ani tzartzva Hashem, ata bati. I came now. That's mean, let's see. Depends on you. Right? So Yehoshua is falling on his face and is asking, so what are you speaking to me? What are your orders? How can I behave in a way that you are going to be the good one? Right? What is your command to me? What should I do? And the answer is, you should take off one shoes. Okay, again, the translation here is not exact. It says, take your shoes or sandals from your feet. It's not what it says. It says, shal na'alcha, your one shoe from your mi'al raglecha. Raglecha is one foot. Foot is singular, right? So it's not your feet, it's your foot. In Moshe Rabbeinu, it was shal na'alecha ma'al raglecha, and the reason is because the place where you are stand is holy. So the same reason is in two cases. In the case of Moshe, it says because the place is holy. This holiness, what was this holiness? It was Mount Sinai, right? Moshe Rabbeinu was in Mount Sinai, and then Hashem told him, this place is holy. Does Har Sinai is holy now? No. It says, once bitkoa shofar, bitkoa yovel, ema ya'alu ba. That's a verse. Bitkoa, bimshoch hayovel, bimshoch hayovel, ema ya'alu ba. That means once all the what's happening in Mount Sinai finished, that was a voice of the shofar, Yovel, and then they can go to the mountain with their shoes. I mean, the holiness was temporal. In this case, it's the same level of holiness. No, we'll see about Yericho. Yericho is going to be Chereb. We see what is the meaning of that, but it's some kind of holiness, but not in the same as Mount Sinai. From one side, it's not so holy, so you can stay with one shoes. From the other side, it's not temporal, it's forever. Right? So we can say that in some aspect it's similar to Har Sinai, in other aspect it's not similar to Har Sinai. So you can't live holiness forever if you are not having your shoes. And this kind of holiness should be mixed or integrated to our normal life. It's not an holiness like in Mount Sinai, when you can touch, you can come close, you have to leave it far away from you. It's a holiness that's inside your life, right? And that is the reason what is one shoes and not two shoes. Do you remember another case that we were talking about shoes in the Exodus? When Na'alechem v'raglechem, right?
When they go out of Egypt.
Yeah. So when they went out from Egypt to the desert, before Hashem told them, be prepared, prepare your food, your matzot, and makelchem b'yedchem, na'alechem v'raglechem, makelchem b'yedchem. You should be ready to go out. Put your shoes on, and put your stick in your hands when you're going to walk. Right. So what does it mean? Put your shoes on. Be ready. Be ready to act. Be ready to. So actually, what the angels say to Yehoshua, you should combine the two things: the holiness and the readiness, the relationship with Hashem and your own action. And this is the big challenge. We mentioned it a couple of times. I mean, I think maybe it's the main issue of Sefer, main topic of Sefer Yehoshua. The holiness in the real life. One shoes on, one shoes off. Right? The holiness that you can walk here, but you should always remember you are in the land of Israel. And it's a very hard thing, right? To live holy life in the real life, in the real world, in the land of Israel, it's a big challenge. It's such a big challenge that we hadn't figured out how to resolve it yet. We'll see that once they come to the land of Israel, they start with all the spiritual challenges. I would say something, I'm not sure it's very exact historically, but historically, when we were out of the land of Israel, we were much closer to the Torah. All the phenomena of Jewish that are not religious started always almost in the same time as Am Yisrael returned to the land of Israel. And when they were in the land of Israel before the exile, we can see in the Bible a lot of idolatry, I mean, it was easier to us to keep the Torah when we were outside of the land of Israel. This combination of holiness and the realistic world is a big challenge. So Yehoshua wants the good angel to be with him, the tough angel to be with him, right? So he asks, what are you order me? And the order of the Malach is you should find the way to combine these two aspects, right? The realistic world and the Torah, the holiness and the material life, right? And Yehoshua did so. Yes, Yehoshua can. So this is maybe the explanation. I'm not saying that's the only explanation possible. Again, we can explain that like in the easy way. This is the angels that Hashem sent to help him to conquer the land of Israel. He asked, he didn't know who is it. He asked, who are you? And he said, I'm this angel that Moshe Rabbeinu talked about. I will be with you. Okay, and that's it. We can understand that in this way. And he tell him, this is a holy place. And then the real message was what we're going to see in the next chapter, the orders of how to conquer the city of Yericho. So this is a pshat. This is the easy way to understand. We can also understand the way that this meeting is a little bit more meaningful. For the first war, before you start actually to conquer the land of Israel, you should take into consideration all the information that I just told you, right? That there are two angels, two ways of behaving, two ways of Hashem supervising what's going on in this world. We want to do the harder way, and the angels say you should find the way to combine, to mix these two aspects in your life. Okay, so we continue another 10, 15 minutes into the next chapter, chapter number 6. So this is the first word, and it says, now Yericho was shut up tight because of the Israelim. No one could leave or enter. So they are ready to the war, right? They know the war is going to come. Now, I want to tell you something about the reality. I guess you know that in the old world, the ancient world, walls were a very important factor in wars. The walls were a real obstacle to conquer a city. We know, for example, that the how do you say matzor when the army is around the city? Surrounding. The surrounding of Jerusalem, how long did it take in the days of the Bavli?
3 years?
Well, it depends how we count it, around 2 to 3 years, right? And as of the Romans, also it took a lot of months. Usually to get inside the wall was very, very hard in the old times. We don't have airplanes, we don't have arms that go long distance. Okay, they found ways, but many times it took years. So in Eretz Israel, we read later about 32 kings. So, I mean, it was at least 32 kings with cities with walls. How long would it take to do that? If each city, each wall would take you 2 or 3 years, so we are talking here about 100 years of war. So it was a war of 100 years, right?
7 years.
No, it was the English, England and France.
Oh, yeah,
The 100 war years, but it wasn't 100 years of war. It was, yeah. The general time was 100 years. I mean, it's a very, very big mission. And Yericho was the hardest. It says Yericho was the strongest city with the strongest walls, and that's why it was in the interest of the land of Israel. So everybody paid them to be strong nation, strong army. So the situation right now, that the realistic mission to win the war is very, very challenging. Yericho is very well closed in front of because of the Israeli. So Hashem say to Yehoshua, and the Lord say to Yehoshua, see, I will deliver Yericho and their king and their warriors into your hands. Giborei Echail. So the Giborei Echail here, the words is not, again, the translation here is just interpretation. What? That there were Giborei Echail?
1, we say Giborei.
Okay. So Giborei Echail mean heroes, strong soldiers. So it says that Yericho and her king means the army of Yericho and king were very strong. And Hashem say, I will give in your hands, meaning in easier ways than what you think, like we see now, the city of Yericho. Now, like just to complete what I said before, some Mefarshim say that this word of Hashem, Vayomer Hashem el Yehoshua, is actually what the angels say to Yehoshua. I mean, Hashem said through the angels. That was the message when Yehoshua said, what is your command for me? He said, first of all, take off your shoes. And now we will tell you the message. What is the message? This is what we are going to read now. So this is a little bit easier to understand in this way, that this is the real message of the angels. Okay, anyway, it says, I will help you and I will give you Yericho and their king, but in a certain way. And it says, let all your troops march around the city and complete one circuit of the city. Do this 6 days. So according to that, who should be the one who makes the circuits around the city? All the soldiers, right? This is order of Hashem. Order of Hashem. All the soldiers should do that once a day for 6 days. And another thing, with 7 priests carrying 7 rams, horns, preceding the ark. That means they're going to be Kohanim, priests. Kohanim, I would say Kohanim. Okay? They will precede the ark. I mean, first the Kohanim and then the ark. On the 7th day, march around the city 7 times with the Kohanim blowing the horns. So should they blow the horns all the 7 days or only in the 7th day? How do you understand this verse? It looks like it's the 7th day. No, but it means each one of the days you should do that. Now, does it say that the Kohanim should also circle the city?
Not clear enough.
It's not clear who is going to circle the city. It only say you should take 7 priests with 7 horns. We guess they should blow the horns, right? That's the reason they take him. And then it says, "Vayom hashvi'i tasobu," means the same one who were circling the city in the first 6 days. We also do that in the 7th day. It's not clear. It doesn't say clearly that the Kohanim also should circle the city 7 days. Okay. And then he says, Hashem say to Yehoshua, and when a long blast is sounded on the horn, now in the Hebrew, you use the word Bekeren Ayovel. What is Yovel? Yovel is, the Gemara says, Rabbi Akiva said, I heard that Yovel is the horn you say, the Keren? What?
Oh,
The horn of Ayal. Ayal is a deer, horn of a deer, right? So this is another word of Yovel. But what do we usually word Yovel in the Torah? Yovel is a year number 50. We have 7 times 7, right? Shemitah. And after that, the 50, year number 50 is Yovel. So, and he also says that why it's called Yovel, because in this year they used to blow the shofar. It was a special shofar of the Yovel. Anyway, it's mentioned in this way, when you hear the voice of the shofar, that it's called Yovel, B'shom'achem et kol shofar. As soon as you hear the sound of the shofar, all the people shall give a mighty shout, Tru'ah Gdola. Usually, Tki'ah, Tru'ah, we use these 2 words, 2 kinds of blowing the shofar, right? We have Tki'ah and we have Tru'ah. Here it looks like the Tki'ah is from the shofar, and a Tru'ah is from the people, is the people shouting, okay? Again, a combination, we say, with the holiness and the voice of the people. And then, V'nafla chomat ha'ir tachtea, thereupon the city wall will collapse. Okay, so the word collapse here is not an exact translation. It says, V'nafla, it will fall, tachtea. Tachtea, beneath itself. That means it won't fall like that. It's going to sink in the land, in the ground. Okay? And the people shall advance, every man straight head. Okay, so if we assume the order of Hashem is like that, the people of the war should go around the city. There should be 7 Kohanim that should have horns, and in front, they would be in front of the chalutz of just a second. It says, yeah. No, before the ark, excuse me, it doesn't mention any chalutz. Before the ark, Shiva Kohanim before the ark, it doesn't say clearly that the Kohanim should make the circles, they should blow the horns every day. And then in the 7th day, we should circle the city 7 times. And then you will hear again the voice of the shofar, a long tkiah. Until now it was short, now it's going to be a long one. After you hear the long one, you're going to shout. The shout, the screaming was the beginning of the battle. You may saw that in some movies, right? Shouting and running, right? So the shout represents the beginning of the war. You should, after the hearing the voice of the shofar, you should shout, and then I will make a miracle, where the wall will fall for himself. I would only mention 2 things about that. First of all, we can see that the number 7 is very dominant here, right? There are 7 Kohanim, 7 shofarot, 7 days. In the 7th day, they have to do 7 times the 7 circles, and then we're talking about the Yovel, who are the 50 after 7 times 7. So the 7 is very dominant here. It's like all the Mefarshim say the same thing. 7 is a very important number in Judaism. We know we have Shabbat, we have Shemitah, and all Kol HaShviyot Mekudashot. All the 7th are holy. Mean again that this war, it's not a regular war, it's a holy war. It's a war that their destiny, their goal is to bring the holiness of Hashem to the world. So this is the reason why it's 7. Why 7 is holy? What is the meaning that 7 is holy? In 7 days. Why didn't they do that in 5 days? Or 10? or one. So the 7 represent, we have every object in the material world has 6 sides, right? It's normally the explanation. The Maharal say another, we have front, behind, left, right, up and down. But like you can see in this page, if we don't have inner part, there's no sides, right? If you don't have the essence, the thing for itself, you can't have sides. So the 7 is a thing for himself. And this is a holiness. We can have 6 aspects of the reality, but the inner part of the reality is a holiness that holds all the rest of it. That's why we have 6 days and Shabbat. Shabbat is what holding all the other days of the week in some way, and Shemitah holding the other years, etc. So again, also here we could say that Eretz Israel, the conquering the land of Israel, is a holiness that is in the nature. Now, above that, we have number 8. What number 8 represent? Brit Milah, and there are a lot of other things. Shmini Atzeret is a Torah, is a holiness that above the nature. So 7 is a holiness in the nature, and 8 is a holiness that is above the nature. That's what Maharal says. Yeah.
Talking about the wall coming down.
Yeah.
So all the wall came down? Everything?
So that's a good question.
Because I have to ask you, Rahab.
Exactly. So what?
And had the cord hanging out, if the walls fell down, she would be in it.
Exactly. The question that you are doing, the questions that the Radak asked, and I think that the answers that you are applying, how do you say, Romez, allusion? Yeah, alluding to is the answer of the Radak. He says, how can it be that all the wall would fall down? It says that Rachav lived inside the wall. Her house was in the wall. So everybody is gone down. How would they save Rachel? And it says that they took her from her house. This is a question. And the answer that the Radak says, it's exactly the answer that you said, that not all the wall fall down, only the wall in the side where the army was. That's what it says, Ish Negdo. And in front of the people, where there were soldiers, yeah, so in... Yeah, I don't know if breach, but big enough. Yeah, so it was in front of all the army stand here, the city is here, all the side of that is that's what the Radak says. And there's a answer. There can be another answer that the wall was, the others say that the wall was actually it has several parts. There's the part that is more through outside, and the part that is more through to the inside. So maybe only part of the wall fall down, and then they have to complete and do by themselves. We'll see that this war is a combination of miracle and human efforts. So it may be also an answer. Okay, anyway, so this is the meaning of the 7 here. Okay, that again, we are talking about a holy war. It's very hard to say because many use this excuse to justify the wars. I mean, one of the factors that made a lot of wars in the world was religion. We know that from the wars between the Christians and Muslims, so we have to use this excuse very carefully. But I mean, we believe in the Bible, right? We believe in the Tanakh, and the Tanakh says clearly that this is a holy war. This is a lot of signs that, like I said before, the fact that we have Pesach and Brit Milah before, the fact that this is a miracle, the fact that we have the 7 here, all this make you understand that what the Bible wants to say to us, what the Torah wants to say to us, this is not a regular war. This is not like all the rest of it that use the religious as an excuse to kill people. Here we are talking about the only way that Hashem would be revealed and be in this world is through the fact that Am Yisrael would be in the land of Israel. Okay, so that was, I mean, we should use it carefully, but we can use it finally and say, here we are completing with the orders of the Torah. Okay, so we saw the order of Hashem. With Hashem, next time we're going to see how it was done in the reality. Okay, questions, another comments?
How come was surrounded and not on 3 sides?
No, it doesn't. What do you mean? Here?
No, the Parsha says when you go to war,
Yeah.
surround city on 3 sides.
It doesn't say 3, then all around. כי תצא על עיר למלחמה.
Surround on three sides and you let whoever.
Yeah, that's the Midrash said. You should give them place to escape.
Yeah.
I don't know what it doesn't have to do with here. Here they didn't surround it. They just circle it. It wasn't around all the place. But yeah, and again, maybe it's not a regular word because we're talking about Shivat Amamim, the 7 nations that were in the land of Israel. Well, yeah, it's not.
Because they have to
Yeah.
kill all of them, right?
Yeah, maybe. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi.